Hi, you called twice?
Yeah, because you called me last night in the middle of the night, and I couldn't hardly remember why you had called. What was your question?
Well, I'm wondering, was that car working? How was it abandoned? Because that person is my children's dad, and he's missing.
All I can tell you is the car, he came in here to the ranch looking for fuel, and I gave him fuel, and we got his car started, and it was probably a half hour after I helped him. I noticed the car was still there. I went back there. He was not around. The car has been a well, I guess do need to tell you the rest of the story. He wasn't around because he stole my four wheeler.
Oh, geez, of course he did.
Anyway, he drove it. He drove it down Highway 95. Um, the officers, not the officers, but the police in Malheur County wouldn't respond. The ones in Winnemucca wouldn't respond. My wife went down and told the officers here in town. They said they just stopped him for hitchhiking. They picked him up, brought him back to see where the four wheeler was at. Asked me if I wanted to press charges. I said no. As long as I got my four wheeler back, let him go on his way. And that's the last thing I heard of it. And the car sat here for 2.5 months. It had been tagged to move, but I said, don't haul it. He might come back and get it. I don't want any hard feelings. I said he never did anything to me except I realized he took the four wheeler, but he was just trying to get out of Dodge. I got my four wheeler back, and so I left the car there, but nobody ever showed up for it. And I thought, people are going to start stealing off of it and taking the tires off of it. And so it's better that it goes somewhere where somebody can watch it. And so I called Malheur County to have them come and tow it, and they towed it, I don't know, a week ago.
Okay.
And the last we heard, the cops gave him a ticket and put him on the train to go to Sacramento.
Oh, so that's where he might be. Yeah, because he had his family he tried to get his family in Nevada to call and see if he was wanted, if he had a warrant for murder. And his dad was like, no, you should know if you have a warrant for that. Because he lives in Missoula, Montana. He's on probation. He's been doing 10 years on a 2.5 year sentence because he doesn't stay sober. He doesn't stay straight at all. He's got 4 felony DUIs and he's just constant. That's why I divorced him. And he's lost his ever loving mind. And I guess he went on to meth and um, all sorts of stuff. He's absolutely gone nuts. He's been accusing everybody of murder, of child porn, all sorts of crazy things. He's committed a lot of fraud in Missoula. That's why we think he took off because he was causing so much hell. He slashed a girl's tires 7 times, and he sawed halfway through her tie rod. She has children. Yeah,
Wow.
he's no good. The guy is no good, and it scares me because he stalks me.
Well,
So
we were concerned here because we didn't know him, and he was here on the property, and we're in the middle of nowhere. And so we were concerned, but like I say, I didn't want to rock the boat, so I
it's
didn't press
good you
charges.
didn't. I'm not gonna lie. It's probably good you didn't because the guy is extremely vengeful and yes, he's a narcissist, big time.
Well, I couldn't I was asleep last night when you called, and then I was probably pretty rude on the phone. I couldn't even remember what we talked about, and this morning I got up and remembered about it, and I thought, I got to get to the bottom of this because I don't even know why she called. I don't remember.
See, and I had no idea it was a personal number. I thought it was the number because his sister got the information in the mail and she sent me the information. So I thought maybe it was his number because it's so hard to read. The paperwork is, but
And I don't even know why my number was on there
oh man.
because I had nothing to do with it. The car was just on my private property, and I let it sit there for 2.5 months, thinking he'd come back and claim it and move it.
It's
And when
very
he
weird
did,
because as far as we
what?
all knew, he still owed money on that car.
Yeah, and when they picked him up that day, they said they didn't have any charges, as I remember, to hold him, any warrants or anything.
Yeah,
And then
the
they asked me, "Do you want to press charges?" And I said, "No, I got
Yeah, he absconded about, it was before July, just towards the end of June, at some point around that time. And,
Yep, that's when he was here.
yeah,
Yep.
and at that time they didn't have a bench warrant. They were still trying to find him. And they put it out. It took her 2 months to get the bench warrant out because she had gone on vacation for 2 weeks and said, I'll do it when I get back, giving him some time. But it's like the third time he's absconded, so he's still not going to go to prison unless he really did kill somebody, of course. But yeah, he's dangerous. I'm glad you didn't rock the boat. That was smart.
Well, I don't know the guy from Adam, and it wasn't that big of a deal. And I wanted to rock the boat because I was pretty pissed off when somebody steals from me. But after I'd given him gas and tried to help him out, it really upset me.
Yeah.
But I thought, you know what? I got bigger fish. I don't need no problem. So that's what I did. And I thought somebody would come and claim the car.
Did
So I
he?
just left it there thinking somebody would come and claim it. Well, pretty soon I noticed that people were getting in it, and I thought, you know what? This car needs to go somewhere where at least it's protected, or otherwise there won't be nothing left. So that's all I can tell you about that. I don't even know where they took the car. I have no idea.
Oh, I know that information. That also came in the mail too. That was
Yeah.
part of the, yeah. So I was thinking about calling that person. It went into auction. I don't know. I don't know if you still owe money on a car if they can take it for an auction, but that's why I'm confused about that side of it because I'm like, I'm pretty sure it was paid off, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
Um,
have no idea, but there was nothing wrong with it as far as appearance. When it left here, when they towed it. So there was if there was something wrong, the only thing I could figure out is he needed fuel. He said he was out of fuel. The car started, and I drove away. And I'm wondering if the fuel pump wasn't out in it because half hour later, I had a four wheeler sitting there about a quarter mile away. The four wheeler was gone, and I've never seen him since. Like I've told you the rest of the story. But there must have been something wrong with the car that it wouldn't continue to run. Otherwise, he should have left because he had enough fuel, and it did start. So whether when the fuel pump got hot, it quit because it only moved about 100 yards from where I started.
right. Well, I know that I think he screwed over somebody here that he was working for, and they ended up sending his child support payment in, so it left him with no money. So he was pretty upset about that, and he started calling people for money. And this story kind of definitely makes sense around that same time where he was doing that, trying to get people. He said he was stranded in Nevada, and he was trying to get his family in California. Or, well, nobody would come get him because nobody wants him around, unfortunately. Did he seem high or drunk or anything?
No, no, he did.
And he seemed
He just
normal?
he just seemed, like he was afraid of something. Like he needed to get gone. But other than that, I mean, he seemed as far as sober and drugs. No, I did. I couldn't tell. I'm not around that many people, but I didn't. He didn't, and he was not. He was not violent towards me in any way, shape, or form. I mean, at all. And he thanked me when I gave him the fuel, and he even left a note when he took the four wheeler and apologized for stealing it. But that don't make it right. But anyway,
He left a note.
yeah, he left a note. He said, "I don't have any money, and I don't have any, and I got to get back to California." On the note, I don't remember. I threw it away, but um, it didn't have any cell phone number or anything on it.
Oh.
Said call Big Mike, but it didn't even leave a phone number. So I don't know how I was supposed to get hold of Big Mike, and I didn't want to get hold of Big Mike. So anyway, that's all the information I have for you. But I wish I could help more, but I have no idea. Like I said, I tried to be helpful. I left the car there for 2.5 months, but people were going to start to steal it or take the tires off it. It was just going to be left there in a pile of junk. So that's why I told Malheur County it had been tagged since he left, but
Huh.
I didn't have to move it because I thought he'd come and get it.
Yeah, I wish I under. I'm glad that yeah, it could have been worse than that. He's not right at all. I don't know what his his probation says he's running because he's on meth. Because I guess they've gotten so many calls, and he says somebody's trying to set him up on a porn hub operation on a federal level. But when they saw him coming, he left. I mean, it's just the craziest stuff that he says. Like, he said this stuff in court for parenting plan, and whenever I went to court, he would say these weird things. I'm like, dude, you're insane. But he looked normal, other than saying dumb things. But
Well,
everybody says he's on meth. He's on meth.
he
So
seemed perfectly fine. He was around here for 24 hours, I guess,
yeah.
because we didn't even know it was here, and then he come in for fuel. But like I said, probably left out maybe 5% that I don't remember. Or I just can't, you know, think about right now. But I've told you 95% of whatever went on that day. So, and like I say, the cops, they picked him up, and they didn't know that he'd stolen the four wheeler. He was
Oh,
hitchhiking. They picked him up, asked him what he was doing, and then they let him go. And then so we found out that they found out late, and then the four wheeler was stolen. So they went back down and picked him up, and he took them to where he left the four wheeler, and then they gave him supposedly they. When I talked to him, they gave him a ticket to get on the train to go to Sacramento.
that was ridiculous for them. But they should have done his check and seen that he was on probation in Missoula.
Yeah, I don't know. Our cops here are kind of deputy dogs. So yeah, they're not the best.
I guess. So that's where he's probably at, because, yeah, they're looking for him, but he's a slippery sucker. So,
Well, I wish I could help you more, man, but I need to get back to work.
I
Thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you for
thank
calling me.
you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Bye bye.
Yeah.